This place has been described as the wildest and most pristine tropical wilderness on Earth. What you see now is how it's been for millions of years. A biodiversity hotspot that remains largely unexplored. Whenever biologists and botanists visit the area, they find new species. The bird life is some of the richest on the planet. The plants are unique. And dinosaurs still roam free. The ancient landscape is awe-inspiring. Yet few ever get to see it. Where are we? The Kimberley, of course, and there's nowhere else on Earth like it. There's something magic about the Kimberley, something that keeps drawing you back, whether it's the escarpments and the waterfalls and the gorges, or the exquisite coastline, or whether it's standing underneath 1 billion stars at night time. It's a paradise, but it can also be a difficult paradise to access for many people. Well, there's only one way to do it in comfort and style, and that's with a company called Outback Spirit. Outback Spirit have been pioneers in the art of luxury outback travel. And up here in the Kimberley, there's a network of exclusive lodges to provide you with all of the adventure, but none of the discomfort. Come with me on the journey of a lifetime, right through the heart of this incredible wilderness. And with Outback Spirit as our guide, we won't miss a beat. Broome, with its pearling history, is the ideal place to start and finish your Kimberley tour. The town, the museums, and Cable Beach are truly unique. But the real adventure begins when you hit the dirt roads. About an hour and a half outside of Derby, we begin what can only be described as a great adventure. The Gibb River Road is a bucket list item for many people. It stretches nearly 700 kilometres from Derby, through the Kimberleys, all the way over to Wyndham in the east. And it's just a marvellous, marvellous trip through varied landscapes at a leisurely pace to give you plenty of time to see and explore what this magnificent area has to offer. Now, here's a good example of one of the most distinctive features of the landscape of the Kimberley, the boab tree. Now, to us, they're very evocative and they're fascinating to look at with all the different shapes, but to the Aboriginal people, they were very, very useful. They could burn the leaves, throw them on a fire to deter mosquitoes. They could take the pith of the nut and crush that up and mix it with some water and wild honey to make a delicious cordial-like drink. And they could cut through the bark and get into the white wood underneath, which would be full of moisture. So they're very, very handy. Aboriginal people will warn you against sleeping under the branches of a boab because snakes can sometimes sleep up there and they might fall off and land on you in the middle of the night. But don't worry, you won't be sleeping under a tree. At the Mornington Wilderness Camp, you'll have your own safari-style cabin overlooking the picturesque Annie Creek. The Australian Wildlife Conservancy manages over 3,000 square kilometres of bush here. And through feral animal control, fire and weed management, they have created a naturalist's paradise, providing refuge for many endangered species and other native wildlife. Would you describe Mornington as a tourism destination or a conservation project?
It is both. And it is very unique because there aren't many places where you can go and see effective conservation being done and have an amazing, unique experience as a tourist. I mean, being able to go on a helicopter and going into the gorges, doing dinner under the stars, but yet be with ecologists and have a look at what they're doing and, you know, having the science lab and the bush back to what it was 200 years ago. So you can't find it anywhere else, really. I mean, this place is just magic.
Outback Spirit are the only touring company that have access to Mornington. And you'll see the sights in these dedicated open-air safari vehicles. These open-air safari vehicles are exclusively for Outback Spirit guests, and they're just great. The little bit of elevation and the open air just makes you feel part of it. It's just like being on safari and air-conditioned. The safari vehicle will get you into some of Mornington's wildest places to experience the original Australia, a pristine wilderness teeming with life. At Mornington, they're working hard to restore the area to its pre-European state. A little further north, the work's been done for them by isolation. On the Mitchell Plateau, virtually all of the pre-European flora and fauna remain intact. The birdsong's amazing around here. They did a recent survey and there were over 200 species of birds here. That's over 1/3 of all the bird species in Australia, right here in the Mitchell Plateau. Outback Spirit have built an incredible lodge up here so that you can visit this extremely remote area in 5-star luxury. Sometimes you've just got to sit and take stock of these Outback Spirit camps. I mean, here I am in one of the most rugged and ancient parts of the world, yet I'm being accommodated in these spacious tents which can be described as nothing short of 5-star, yet it seems totally appropriate with the surroundings. The Nawadu Safari Camp is situated next to a creek that's great for a swim. Look, here's a... When you're stuck in traffic or cursing the weather down south, it can be hard to imagine that in the outback of Australia, places like this exist. There's a wildness and a grandeur, but there's also a calmness and a serenity and a spirituality that you just don't find on a freeway or in a shopping mall. And it's up here, waiting for you. This morning, it's time to strap on the walking boots for what has to be one of the best short hikes on the planet. A local Indigenous guide is taking me out to Mitchell Falls, but along the way, something very special awaits. The Kimberley has some of the oldest rock art in the world, with some paintings believed to be up to 50,000 years old.
This artwork here just represent what they used to hunt and gather. Yeah, you got a couple of fruit bats there, and a couple of kidneys, fish.
Is that an eel, the long thing?
That's actually a painting of a rainbow serpent. The serpent stripe represents all the colors in the rainbow.
Would you consider this to be a sacred, special place?
Very sacred, this area.
I'm so glad I got to see this. A short walk further on reveals one of the most remote natural wonders on the planet. These are the incredible Mitchell Falls, and I can honestly say this is one of the most awe-inspiring places I have ever been. Once you've had some time to admire the falls, Outback Spirit will have you flown back by helicopter. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. It's an experience you'll never forget. thrive up here in the Plateau because the Plateau is made entirely of bauxite, and that holds the moisture a lot better, so it's a very, very healthy environment for all plant life up here. It's very easy to imagine huge dinosaurs walking along down there. It's very prehistoric. This is the real deal. While we're up in the North Kimberley, I want to show you a new addition to selected Outback Spirit Kimberley adventures. On the Kimberley coast, northeast of Columbaroo, there's a place called Faraway Bay. It's named quite appropriately, because it's about as far away as you can get. But there's no reason to be uncomfortable. Surrounded by thousands of kilometres of rugged, spectacular isolation, this really is a magnificent part of the Kimberley. This unique coastal lodge is full of rustic charm with incredible food and great hospitality. And the outlook over the turquoise waters of the Timor Sea will whet your appetite for the adventures that lie ahead. The Kimberley coast has to be among the most beautiful on Earth. It's virtually uninhabited, and the scale is unimaginable. You ready for some adventure? Today we're travelling through some classic Kimberley coast country to a very special destination, and we're going to have some fun along the way. At the end of this majestic gorge lies one of the most exquisite and inaccessible destinations in Australia, the King George Falls. And our guide knows some secret swimming spots along the way that even the crocs don't know about. You travel up this river with a sense of anticipation, but nothing can properly prepare you for the King George Falls. Now, the King George River, named after His Majesty King George V, tumbles here 80 metres over these sheer cliffs into a pool about 80 metres deep. It's said to have the highest volume of any waterfall in Australia, and the flow will of course depend on the season. Outback Spirit run tours here through the wet and the dry. In the dining room down at the camp there's a blackboard, and it's written on there, "It can feel like the edge of forever, and a few days can seem like a week." And having been here for a few days, I have to agree. So, a toast to Faraway Bay. From Faraway Bay, we're heading south, back to the Gibb River Road, through some spectacular scenery towards the Pentecost River. When you reach the famed Pentecost River crossing with the Coburn Ranges there in the background, you've come to the unofficial end of the Gibb River Road. So you can now officially say, I've done the Gibb. But it's by no means the end of our trip, because just up the road is another iconic destination, El Questro and the Zebedee Hot Springs. The springs come from somewhere deep within that mountain. They're about 30 degrees all year round. A leisurely walk and a dip in here is a great way to start the day. We'll spend the night here at El Questro's beautiful Emma Gorge Resort, where you can explore or relax. It's all up to you. From El Questro, you'll be treated to yet another stunning Kimberley experience. A cruise up the Ord River. The Triple J cruise up the Ord River is one of the best cruises in Australia. And it's an incredible way to experience the Ord River irrigation scheme. We are travelling 55 kilometres upstream with plenty of time to admire the locals. Freshwater crocs and water birds thrive in this river. It's full of life.
And it's a lot of fun.
From Kununurra, we begin our journey back down towards Broome, but the trip's definitely not over yet. These are the Bungle Ranges. The Bungles only came to public recognition here in Australia around about 1983. They were very quickly recognised by the world and given World Heritage listing. These incredible domes are actually the remains of a 350 million year old riverbed that alternately laid the darker clay-rich sediment on top of sandy sediment to create the stripes. The sandstone was then uplifted into a mountain range and has been slowly worn down into its current form by millions of years of torrential wet seasons. And somehow, all that erosion has also created the best natural amphitheatre on Earth.
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Is your heart with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight?
The Outback Spirit Kimberley tour is nothing short of amazing. It'll take you to so many incredible places. Too many, in fact, to put them all in one film. If you want a Kimberley experience like this one, there really is only one way to do it, and that's with Outback Spirit. They have the best vehicles, the best lodges, and most importantly, they know the place like the back of their hand. I think every Australian should come to the Kimberleys. It's a unique part of the world and it's uniquely Australian. And if you come with Outback Spirit, I'm sure you'll regard it as a journey of a lifetime and one you'll never forget.